Anna Karenina. Part 1. The Fall of the House of Oblonsky, Chapter 1, the famous opening, and the domestic chaos. All happy families are alike. Each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way. Everything was in confusion at the Oblonsky's house. The mistress had discovered that her husband was having an affair with the French governess who had lived with them, and she declared she could no longer live under the same roof with him. This state of affairs had lasted for 3 days, and not only the husband and wife themselves, but all the members of their family and household were painfully conscious of it. They felt that there was no sense in their living together, and that the stray people brought together by chance in any inn had more in common with one another than they, the members of the family and household of the Oblonskys. The mistress did not leave her rooms. The master had not been at home for 3 days. The children ran wild all over the house. The English governess quarreled with the housekeeper and wrote to a friend asking her to look out for a new situation for her. The cook had gone out just at dinner time the day before. The kitchen maid and the coachman had given notice. Prince Stepan Arkadyich Oblonsky, Stiva, as he was called in society, woke up at his usual hour, 8 o'clock in the morning, not in his wife's bedroom, but on the Morocco leather sofa in his study. He turned his stout, well-cared-for body on the springy sofa, as though he would sink into a long sleep again. He hugged the pillow and pressed his cheek to it, but all at once he started up, sat down on the sofa and opened his eyes. Yes, how was it? He thought, remembering a dream. Alabin was giving a dinner in Darmstadt. No, not in Darmstadt, but something American. Yes, but the Darmstadt was in America. Yes, Alabin was giving a dinner on glass tables, and the tables sang Il mio tesoro, and there were some sort of little decanters on the table, and they were women too. Stepan Arkadych's eyes sparkled with joy, and he went on smiling even as he sat there. But then he remembered his situation. The smile vanished from his face, and his forehead wrinkled. Ooh, he groaned. Again, he saw in his imagination every detail of his quarrel with his wife, the hopelessness of his position, and worst of all, his own fault. Chapter 2. The truth and the smile. Stepan Arkadyich was truthful with himself. He could not feel repentant that he, a handsome, amorous man of 34, was not in love with his wife, the mother of 5 living and 2 dead children, and only a year younger than himself. He only regretted that he had not succeeded better in hiding it from her, but he felt all the difficulty of his position and was sorry for his wife, his children, and himself. And how well we got on until now. She was content and happy in her children. I never interfered with her in anything. I allowed her to manage the house and the children just as she liked. But it was the governess, that was the mistake. There is something trivial and vulgar in flirting with one's own governess. But what a woman she was! He remembered Millet, Roland's black eyes and her smile. He remembered the worst moment, when he had returned from the theater, happy and content, with a huge pear in his hand for his wife, and did not find her in the drawing room. To his surprise, he found her in her bedroom with the unlucky note that had betrayed everything. Dolly, who was always anxious and busy, sat still with the note in her hand, looking at him with an expression of horror and despair. What is this? This? She asked, pointing to the note. Stepan Arkadyich remembered that at that moment his face had assumed a totally involuntary smile, his usual, kind, and therefore rather stupid smile. He could not forgive himself for that smile. When Dolly saw it, she shuddered as if in physical pain and rushed out of the room. Since then, she had refused to see him. Chapter 3. Morning preparations. Stepan Arkadyich got up, put on his blue silk-lined grey dressing gown, and called for his valet, Matvey. Matvey entered with his clothes, boots, and a telegram. Along with him came the barber with the shaving tackle. Is there anything from the office? Stepan Arkadyich asked. The owner of the carriage company has sent someone, Matvey replied with a sly smile, indicating the unpaid bills. Stepan Arkadyich read the telegram. His face lit up. Matvey, my sister Anna Arkadyevna is coming tomorrow, he said. Thank God, Matvey replied. He understood that Anna Arkadyevna, his master's favorite sister, might be able to help reconcile the husband and wife. After being shaved and dressed, Stepan Arkadyich went to the dining room for his coffee and his morning newspaper. He read a liberal paper, not because he had strong political convictions, but because he liked the tone of it. Liberalism suited his lifestyle. The party said that marriage was an obsolete institution and needed to be remodeled, which felt very true to him as he sat there in his broken home. Chapter 4. The Confrontation with Dolly. After breakfast, Stepan Arkadyich summoned his courage. He decided he must see Dolly. He walked through the dark drawing room and opened the door to her bedroom. Daria Alexandrovna was standing in the middle of the room, surrounded by clothes and open trunks. She was trying to pack her things and the children's to go to her mother's house. But for 3 days she had been unable to make the decision. When she heard his footsteps, she looked at him with hatred. Her face, once pretty, was now thin and worn from childbearing and anxiety. "Dolly," Stepan Arkadyich said in a soft, timid voice. "What do you want?" she asked in a hard, strange voice. "Dolly, Anna is coming today," he tried. "What is that to me? I cannot receive her." Dolly cried out, as if in physical pain. "Go away, go away!" Stepan Arkadyich felt his throat tighten. "Dolly, what can I say? Forgive me. Think of our 9 years of life. Go away. Do not talk to me of your disgusting infatuations," she screamed. "Dolly, for God's sake, think of the children. They are not to blame. I am the guilty one. Punish me. Make me pay. But forgive me." Dolly sat down. Her face was full of despair. "You remember the children when you want to play with them, but I think of them always, and I know they are ruined now. How can we live together after this? My husband, the father of my children, in an affair with their own governess. It is impossible." Stepan Arkadyich bowed his head. "Tell me, what am I to do?" "You are a vile, disgusting man. You have no heart, no honor. To me you are a stranger, a complete stranger," she cried. The word stranger hurt her as much as it did him. She slammed the door and left him alone. Chapter 5. At the office, Stepan Arkadyich went to his office. He was the head of a government department in Moscow, a post he had obtained through the influence of his sister's husband, Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin. Stiva was well liked by everyone at the office. His good nature, his honesty, and his liberal outlook made him a favorite. In the middle of the day, a visitor was announced. It was an old friend, Konstantin Levin. Levin was a landed proprietor from the country, a man who avoided the city and its bureaucratic ways. He was a strong, broad-shouldered man with a curly beard, looking slightly out of place in the formal atmosphere of the office. "Levin, finally you have come!" Stepan Arkadyich cried, embracing his friend. "How are you? When did you arrive?" Levin was nervous and agitated. He had come to Moscow for a very specific reason. He had been in love with Kitty Sherbatsky, Dolly's younger sister, for a long time. "Are the Sherbatskys in town? Is everything the same with them?" Levin asked, his face turning red. Stepan Arkadyich smiled. He knew his friend's secret. "Nothing has changed. Kitty is skating at the zoo today. Go there, you will find her." Chapter 6. Levin's history and his love. Levin and the Sherbatskys were old Moscow families. During his university years, Levin had been close with the young Prince Sherbatsky and had fallen in love with the whole family.